George Russell's championship hopes may have disappeared into the gravel at Belgium. The driver responsible was Lewis Hamilton, and the FIA stewards judged the incident to be entirely Hamilton's fault. But here's what makes the situation so unusual. The only people in the entire Formula One paddock who refused to point the finger at Lewis were George Russell himself and his own Mercedes team. Think about that for a moment. Your championship contender is eliminated on the opening lap. The FIA officially rules that another driver caused the collision. Yet, instead of criticizing that driver, Mercedes immediately begin defending him. There was no public frustration from George, no criticism from Toto Wolff, and no condemnation from anyone wearing silver. Yet the collision itself is not the biggest story. The bigger story is what Mercedes would have had to acknowledge if they had chosen to openly blame Lewis Hamilton. First, let's go through what actually happened, because the facts of the incident and the reaction that followed simply do not line up. On the opening lap at Spa-Francorchamps, Lewis Hamilton, now driving the red Ferrari, launched an attack down the inside. He locked the front, the car washed into understeer, and he could not avoid contact. His Ferrari slammed into George Russell's silver Mercedes, sending Russell helplessly into the gravel trap. Russell's race ended instantly, before the first lap had even been completed. The stewards did not view it as a racing incident or shared responsibility. They ruled Hamilton completely at fault and handed him a 5-second penalty. Normally, such contact would bring a 10-second sanction, but they reduced it after accepting that genuine understeer had contributed to the mistake. Hamilton's difficult afternoon did not end there. While serving his penalty, Ferrari released him unsafely from the pit box, sending him into one of their own mechanics. The error earned the team a €30,000 fine. Hamilton eventually fought his way back to finish fourth, but by that stage it was impossible to describe his race as trouble-free. And still, the one team with the strongest reason to criticize him chose not to say anything at all, because that is where this story becomes truly unusual. George Russell, the man who had just lost the biggest result of his season, was asked about the crash and said this: "I am not going to blame Lewis. If things were normal, I would not have even been battling with Lewis." He shrugged it off and called it, in his own words, probably a racing incident. And his team boss backed him to the hilt. Toto Wolff told Sky it should have been Hamilton's corner, but that these things happen and that it was just a racing incident. The FIA blamed Lewis. Mercedes defended him. And here is the detail that should stop you dead. Ferrari, Hamilton's own team, were furious about that penalty, calling it mega harsh. So, the side whose driver caused the crash was angrier about it than the side whose driver it wrecked. That is the whole thing turned upside down. So, run the test I ran because it is the fastest way to see what is really going on here. Take that red Ferrari and make it a Red Bull. Take Lewis Hamilton out of it and drop Max Verstappen in. Same corner, same contact, the same Mercedes title contender left sitting in the gravel. Does Toto Wolff shrug and call that a racing incident? Not a chance. Mercedes marched straight to the stewards. The team radio is on every broadcast within the hour, and Wolff is in front of every camera in the paddock talking about dangerous driving. We watched him do exactly that for a whole season in 2021 when Hamilton put Verstappen into the wall at Silverstone. Wolff's Mercedes celebrated on the pit wall while Red Bull screamed for a ban. Toto knows precisely how to turn a lap 1 clash into a month-long war. Same crash, a different name, and a completely different reaction. So why, when it is Lewis, does all of that fury just evaporate? Here is why. The moment Mercedes put Lewis Hamilton on trial, their own car becomes Exhibit A. Because the second you ask why George could not defend that corner, you get an answer far more damaging than anything Hamilton did on that lap. George Russell was never really racing. He told his engineers he came out of turn 1 already 30 to 40% down on battery, and by the top of Eau Rouge, he had nothing left at all. He described it himself as dangerous, swamped by 3 cars because he was a sitting duck on the fastest and most feared stretch of track in the sport. This is Eau Rouge and Read Along. The climb drivers take almost flat out at close to 300 km per hour, a corner with a genuine history of ending careers and lives. Mercedes sent George up through it in a car that had effectively gone dark. That is not a racing incident. Mercedes sent a title contender into the quickest corner in Formula 1 inch, a car that could not defend itself. George was not racing Lewis. He was waiting to be swallowed. And this was not one rogue engine either. Max Verstappen spent the same weekend calling these 2026 cars F3 power through the middle sector, the drivers lifting and coasting through corners that used to be flat out. Wolff himself admitted the exact same failure hit every Mercedes-powered car on the grid that day, from the works team to customers like McLaren and Williams. And of every driver it could have struck, it struck the one man still trying to stop Mercedes' own teenager from taking his crown. So blaming Lewis does not just expose a crash, it exposes a dangerous car in the very season Mercedes are supposed to have the best package in the sport. That is the version they will do almost anything to bury because a racing incident is forgotten by Monday morning. And a dangerous car is a story that follows you all year. Chapter 6. The radio they didn't air. And then came the strangest detail of the lot. George Russell's rawest radio message, the one where he raged that he had no battery and that the entire weekend had been unacceptable, was never played on the live world feed. Maybe that was ordinary broadcast editing. Maybe it was not. But it meant millions of us heard the polished racing incident line long before we ever heard how furious George actually was. And this is not some hothead we are talking about. George Russell is one of the most measured, politically careful drivers on the entire grid. For him to lose it like that on the radio tells you exactly how wrong this one felt. And it is not just me who noticed. That muted radio became one of the single most talked about moments of the whole weekend. Fans replaying it and asking the obvious question, why was the angriest thing George said also the one thing we were not allowed to hear? Convenient does not quite cover it. Why Russell became expendable. And that brings us to the part that makes all of this calm suddenly make cold sense. While George Russell's title was dying in the gravel, the other Mercedes was cruising to victory. Kimi Antonelli, 19 years old, won the race, his 6th of the season. He now leads Lewis Hamilton by 45 points, while Russell has dropped all the way to 3rd, 50 points behind his own teammate. Look at that again. The man who wrecked George's race, Lewis Hamilton, walked away from Belgium ahead of him in the standings, and the kid in the sister Mercedes walked away from it as champion-elect. So, picture the Mercedes pit wall on Sunday night. One of their drivers was in the gravel watching his championship disappear. The other was on the podium watching the whole team quietly become his. And remember, this was supposed to be George Russell's year. And George is the one being edged aside. One driver needed Mercedes to go to war for him. The other was giving them every reason not to bother. And do not forget who Lewis Hamilton is to this team. 12 years, 6 world titles, every one of them won in a Mercedes. Wolff still talks about him like family. So why on earth would you start a civil war over yesterday's hero, when tomorrow's champion is already sitting in your other car wearing the very same silver? So Toto chose the version that dies quietly. Racing incident. No anger, no war. Everyone moves on by Tuesday. And underneath all of it sits a colder truth still. Mercedes do not need George Russell to win them this championship anymore. They have a 19-year-old who does it for them. Hamilton made the contact. Mercedes built the target. And Antonelli made George's title expendable. So you tell me where the blame really sits. Was it Hamilton for making the move? Was it Mercedes for sending George out there defenseless?